every failing I may have to roam. Dear God, how I'd hate to leave my dear home, but each night in memory sure I'll see it still. My Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include
As good a time as any to talk about just exactly what marina is.
all this and more coming up. Please stay tuned.
At Participaction, we've got a great idea for you. Active living. It's fun, and it's good for you. Participaction. Moving your way every day.
Sandbanks Provincial Park will be opening for this camping season at 8 a.m. on Friday morning. Workers at the park are busy getting ready for the upcoming season. Used automobile parts are no longer as readily available as they once were. This past weekend, the car wrecks from the old car dump as well as the town dump were crushed and trucked away. Newfoundland Metal Salvage, a division of a Quebec-based company, were in town salvaging a lot of the old cars that have been discarded at the municipal dump as well as the old car dump, located just past Longpond. The car wrecks were crushed and are being trucked to Montreal where they will be recycled. Team 5 tractor-trailer loads of wrecks from the town dump and 3 loads from the old car dump. Manager Doug Kendall informed me that council has no future plans for the old car dump, but just wanted to get rid of the wrecks. 16 Burgeo women have found another way to pass their spare time. They are the first graduating class to finish a 10-week quilting course offered by West Viking College here in Burgeo. And, as you will see, the course obviously paid off. Barb Pink, instructor of the quilting course, informed us that the quilts made during the course are a mixture of machine and hand-sewn quilts. Pink explained that students were not required to have their quilts finished in order to complete the Please stay tuned for more of This Week in Review, coming up after this.
Here in Canada, we've made great strides in advancing women's causes, yet we still have a long way to go, both here and in the rest of the world. USC Canada is taking steps, supporting savings and loans programs for women in developing countries. When you reach out, you find we're really not so far apart. This is June Callwood. Please lend your support to USC Canada, 56 Spark Street, Ottawa.
The Janeway telethon is scheduled for next weekend. We decided to see what's being done around our community in support of the Janeway. We'll be visiting these businesses again next week, as well as speaking to Mr. Marsden to find out how much money was contributed to this year's Janeway telethon. Foodland and Pepsi are offering its customers a chance to win a 1995 Ford Aspire. This car was on display at Foodland here in Burgeo this past week. I'm here today in front of Ingram's Foodland with Gord Ingram and Pat McCarthy, what's your position with Pepsi?
Sales manager, Western Newfoundland Division.
Okay, and Foodland and Pepsi, I understand, have a contest going whereby someone's going to win this car behind us here?
Yes, Dave. The first week started May the 24th weekend. We started promoting Pepsi, and True Browning and Arby and Foodland, they've offered this car for the other 40 stores, and one lucky winner out of the 40 stores will win this car, True Pepsi.
Okay, what kind of car is it?
It's a 1995 Ford Aspire.
Take her spin around town once Pat gets out of the way.
Okay, and where will the draw take place?
The draw will take place you know, through some, I imagine, some auditor, some
Yeah, it's going to be done
radio station.
in Carbonear, Food Town Carbonear. That's where it's going to be drawn for. And then it'll be the winner will be notified in that day, September the 3rd.
Okay, so hopefully if everything goes good, the car will be coming back to Burgeo again.
Dave, be so nice. Yeah.
We sure hope so.
Well, anyway, we've got a lot of people, and that's writing at the ballots. You don't have to make a purchase of Pepsi as much. We encourage the Pepsi sell. But if anybody comes in for any purchase at all, or just want to pick out a ballot, they can take the ballot, fill it out, and drop it in the box provided. Come September, all these ballots will be sent in and be put in one big drum. So if you participate, you really got a good chance of winning.
Okay, well, thanks for speaking to us today.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much.
With the Recreation Commission telethon only 2 weeks away, I decided to interview one of the members of the Recreation Commission to find out more about the Commission as well as the upcoming telethon. I'm speaking today with Ken Benoit, who is one of the members of the Burgeo Recreation Commission. Mr. Benoit, we hear a great deal of talk lately about the Burgeo Recreation Commission. Can you tell us why this commission was formed?
Well, this commission was sprang out of a meeting that was held on March the 2nd, rather, in 1992. And at that time, it was a public meeting held by the council to determine if indeed there was any interest or support for an arena in the town. A committee was struck then, an ad hoc committee, of which I was a member, to canvass the town and to report back to council to see if indeed there was any support for this arena and whether or not this idea should be promoted or carried any further. At that time, there was a great number of members, of course, myself, Glenn Peterson, Karen Buckland, let me just trying to think of the people there, Tom Roach, Jim Marsden, Trevor Ricketts, Leonard Ball, Hid Donnelly, and I may have missed a few more, Naomi and Gord Tucker were there as well. All these people were part of this ad hoc committee. After we got organized, we realized, of course, that after talking to government officials and the aide to the Premier, Eddie Joyce, we realized that before we could make any inroads at all with government, that we would have to become a bona fide group. I think it was then that the Recreation Commission was formed. And of course, from there, we progressed to where we are today.
Okay, how many members are currently on the commission?
Well, the commission, as you know, been formed since 1992. Has been sanctioned by council since then, I guess. And to date, we have 9 members: Leonard Ball, myself, Karen Buckland, Glenn Peterson, Aidan Brown, Gord Tucker, Ed Donnelly. We have 2 new members now, recently this year: Peter Rimmel and Dave Cooper, who came to the commission this year. As you know, the more, I shouldn't say the more members we have, but you need a fair number of members to carry a commission that size, because oftentimes some of the members can't make it or are out of town. And when work has to be done, the more people, of course, the easier to spread the load around. So these are the current and active members of the commission.
How much money has the commission raised thus far for the Burgeo Arena Fund?
Well, the first telethon, of course, was held a year or so after we were formed, and we raised approximately $20,000 at that time. And last year we had $12,000 in the which of course amounted to 30. Some of this funds was spent in a feasibility study, which I have here. As you know, the bureaucracy that one has to go through before you can get anything off the ground is staggering. Some people would even say it's a waste. You had to have engineering studies and feasibility studies, and every government department's got to be covered, and so on and so forth. This is fairly costly. We received some monies from government to help support this, and some of it came from what we raised ourselves. And I'd just like to point out to everyone that this is the feasibility study. We forwarded a copy to the government departments, to our member in Ottawa, and of course these people all have copied this and are supporting it, and we're trying to get some funding. But as you know, with the austerity budgets that the government has, and it's very difficult to know if and when this is going to materialize and become a reality. I'd like to show you this. I don't know if you can see this. This is the, can you pick this up with your camera? basically what our arena will look like. As you can see, this is the floor plan we have here. You know, there will be bleachers. This is not going to be an artificial ice surface. There will be places there for people to sit. There will be a canteen, place for a canteen, washrooms, take a food, and so on and so forth, and all the various things that you would find in an arena. The main difference between this arena and a lot of the other arenas is that this is going to be a non-artificial ice surface. And consequently, of course, the cost of maintaining this facility should be well within the means of the people of Burgeo and the surrounding area. So it shouldn't be a real area and cost us a fortune. If anyone wants to look at this, there's a copy of this at council. I have a copy of myself, and all the members of the commission have a copy of it, so that anyone who's truly interested and would like to see what's happening can certainly obtain a copy and peruse it. And of course you have to return it again, but it's public information. Anyone can have it.
How much is the community required to raise as its share of the cost of putting this arena in Burgeo?
Okay, I never finished when I talked about the funding on totally. As you know, we raised it at $30,000 approximately, maybe give or take a few dollars. And the council has donated $20,000 from the sale of the hospital. $20,000 went to the Fire Commission and $20,000 to the Recreation Commission. So to date we have $50,000, which of course is 1/4 of the way thereabouts. We're expected to raise in the vicinity of $200,000. Now I know that sounds like a lot of money, but considering that we've got $50,000 already and we've only been at it a short time, I think it's well within our reach. The funding is going to, you know, if and when we get it, and we say if, but I like to think when as opposed to if. I think it will come, but we may have to be patient and wait. It comes under the federal provincial infrastructure setup, whereby it's kind of a cost share. 1/3 of the total amount will be forgiven by the federal government, and then of the remaining 2/3, it will be split in a 60-40 fashion, whereby the provincial government will be responsible for 60%, and the municipal, being the town or the commission or whatever you want to look at, would be responsible for 40%. So essentially, we're responsible for 40% of 60%. And if you work that out, that's probably around 22-23% of the total cost of the arena. Approximately $200,000.
Okay, the third Recreation Commission telethon is coming up in a few weeks. Does the commission have a goal in mind to raise during this telethon?
Well, we'd like to raise as much money as possible. I mean, I realize, and everyone else realizes, that times are tough, and everyone, as we said before, has austerity budgets, both personal, municipal, federal, and wherever you look. However, whatever we raise, we would be happy with, but we'd like to think that maybe we could approach or you know, raise around $10,000. I think that would be a reasonable amount for a town of this size. And it would show the federal government and the provincial government that we are serious. I'd like to point out that everybody in government now is aware of our endeavors here and our determination to have an arena. And this report is circulating in every government department. Everyone is aware of it, and we're open that when the time comes to make decisions, that we will be considered. And that's all we've been told. We can't get any more commitments than that. As you know, this year there's only $30 million worth of projects approved, so that's not a lot of money to go around.
Okay, are you pleased with the support the Recreation Commission has received during the telethons held in the past?
Yes, absolutely. I think the town has been more than generous. I think people realize that this is a worthwhile cause, something that everyone can benefit from. And I think perhaps this is as good a time as any to talk about just exactly what an arena is. I mean, it's not a hockey. It's not simply a place for the kids to play hockey and then it goes down. There's all kinds of activities can take place in an arena. We can think of dances, gatherings, you know, roller skating, basketball, broom ball. If you think about any large gathering, like a Canada Day, oftentimes the weather doesn't cooperate. You need somewhere to move it indoors. We talk about the festivals that the Lions Club have at year's end and so on and so forth. So unlimited use for it. It's not catering to any one age group. I think everybody has got a stake in this, whether you're just go to watch a band. As you know, we don't have a building in this town that could house any more than 350 people. And if you were to bring in a group like the Irish Descendants or whatever, we just don't have the space to house them. Consequently, the cost would be astronomical, and we can't do it. However, if we had a large facility that could house 500, 600, 700 people or 1,000 people, then of course you could bring them in and pay one night, and one night stand would pay for itself, more than pay for itself. So I think this facility can actually raise money after it gets going, but I think we'd be better able to raise funds for it after it's in place, more so than we can now.
Okay, I also understand that the Recreation Commission are selling tickets that will be drawn during the telethon. What are these tickets on?
Well, actually, it's a camping thing. We have a lantern, and a large stove, and then a small, like pocket-sized stove. So it's three propane ovens, really, and of course they're valued about $150. So we're asking people to buy tickets and support us in this cause. We're also asking all of the businesses. I'll be canvassing the town very soon, giving you a little a sheet whereby you can either pledge proxy, some people may be out of town, or you can donate an item, or of course you can just call, and as we regularly do. But I ask everybody to support. I realize that times are tight, but they may get better very soon. If anyone's listening to the news, you realize that the fishery may not be in such a bad state as it appears to be because of the Smith Sound find just recently of the large cod stock up here. Maybe a lot of this is true for the South Coast as well, and maybe we have some stocks of cod in those bays. So perhaps in the near future that we can see some kind of employment in the town, and times won't be as tough as they appear to be. So I would ask everybody, please, when the time comes, to dig into your pockets and whatever you can afford, please pledge.
Okay, Mr. Benoit, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, all I say is that I would like to think that this arena is going to be a reality. I don't foresee putting a time frame on saying in the next year or 2 or 3, because we don't know. All I can say is that we continue to raise funds. We take the funds that we have and we invest them in the bank, and they'll grow on themselves. I mean, once you start getting $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in the bank, it'll grow $4,000 or $5,000 a year itself, and consequently that'll help alleviate the fundraising. So I think that we can reasonably expect within the next 2 or 3 years maybe that something is going to break. Maybe the Boise Bay fine will help us. Maybe the government will get generous.
Okay, Mr. Benoit, thanks for speaking with us. Burgeo Recreation Commission are involved in all sporting activities here in Burgeo, not just hockey. Also, we'd like to remind you that the deadline for entering videos in the Funniest Video and Nature Video Contest is fast approaching. If you'd like to enter a video or require more information, please feel free to contact me at the BBS office. Well, that concludes tonight's program. Please stay tuned now for a re-airing of last week's Bandwagon. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper.